if the only thing that's holding me back is the word no, I can easily overcome that.
I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me.
Prestige Living Podcast. So with that, who do you want to be?
Hello, welcome to Prestige Living, a podcast geared towards showcasing the entrepreneurs in Orange County. I am your host, Jay O'Brien, with your co-host, Jordan Wilson.
Hey.
Jordan, what is going on today?
Jay, sometimes it takes a traumatic experience to help you focus in on what it is you want your life to be. From my own experience, as most of my friends and family know, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, ulcerative colitis to be exact, in 2010. After nearly dying twice and trying just about every medication out there, in 2012, I decided to have surgery to remove all of my large intestine. This actually was 3 separate surgeries over the course of 5 months. The recovery was just grueling, very difficult physically and mentally. At the time, I was actually in the hospitality industry. Wasn't really going anywhere with my professional career. I'd been interested in real estate for a while and was thinking about signing up for the necessary classes to get my license. I actually remember my first meeting with you at TK Burger in Costa Mesa.
I recall. And what was the second meeting when I was in your hospital?
I was just going to say, and I think you were the first one to ever just to visit me in the hospital, and that was I was very appreciative of that. It was during my recovery from my first surgery when the light bulb clicked. I was in the hospital bed and had like a moment of clarity, as people say. I decided that, life is too short to be unhappy, and this applies to my personal as well as my professional life. I went forward and used all the downtime I had while recovering from my operations to take the tests and study, and went on to pass my real estate test. So while I was slowly but surely inching my way towards taking the real estate exam, it wasn't until I had this experience of nearly losing everything that I decided now's the time. Sometimes you just need a little reminder that tomorrow isn't guaranteed to any of us. Our guest today has a similar experience where it took a major life event that set her on the path that will lead her to her current success. She's been a friend of mine since high school, actually. She's worked previously as a model for brands such as Nike, Volcom, Paul Frank, and Reef. In 2008, she started her own swimwear line. She's still in the fashion industry. She's the founder of the advertising and marketing company called Vamped. I'm going to let her talk all about that. So without further ado, let's welcome Lindsay Heppner to the show. Lindsay, welcome, and thank you for being here.
That's so rad. Hi, guys.
Hi, what's up? Great to have you.
Great to be here, and I'm very honored that you guys even thought of me to do this interview.
But of course. So I got to hear about this life event. What happened, and tell me when it happened, and give me all the deets.
Okay, well, what is it? March, exactly a year ago I started this business. So the year before, December 25th is Christmas, right? So
yep,
every year.
Hey, come on. Give me a break. I'm trying to think of dates. The day after Christmas, I went to the gym really early. I remember being so bummed because I had to go to work the day after, and everyone had that day off. And I've been in the swimwear industry for a really long time, and my previous job was designing for big brands like Hurley and Nautica and all these companies that I had to create mood boards for, and I loved it. It was my passion to do swim. But I remember just being so annoyed that I had to work the day after Christmas. And it was, if you guys know, the day after Christmas, no one is on the streets. No one is up to go to work or anything. So I was literally the only person driving. And I remember it. Of course, it's right by my house, by St. Simon and Jude.
Oh yeah.
An SUV came into the intersection, completely stopped in the middle of the intersection, and instinctively, I looked at the car and thought it would move, and I didn't have to brake, but it didn't, and I literally just kind of accepted that this might be my last day, and I just hit it. And I remember waking up and my car, I thought my car was on fire, because of all the airbags going off, and I crawled out of my car on the street and into a bush And I remember like the ambulance came, all these people were around me, and I couldn't believe I was like actually alive, because the fact when I was crawling, I thought my whole body was bleeding. Like,
wow.
I just didn't even, I was just so out of it. And the doctor, when I was taken to the hospital, the doctor, like, it was just the most traumatic, emotional feeling ever, because the fact that when you're in that state of mind and you don't know what's going on, and someone's cutting all your clothes off, and you're like you know what I mean? Like, I was naked, and it was just so uncomfortable, and like, but I remember the doctor saying that he's like, I cannot believe that you didn't break one single bone in your body. Yeah.
Wow. He's
just like, I cannot believe it. And because of the fact, and I didn't have any scars on my face or anything. Like, my whole car was destroyed. So, after that, I was bedridden for 2 months. I had to move in my boyfriend, and he had to ice me every 4 hours, like all throughout the night for 2 months. And I knew that at that moment, I remember saying to him, when I get out of this bed, like, I'm gonna hit the ground running. And he's never met me and knew me that way. So when I made a business plan, everything in my bed, because I was so, I mean, if you know me as a person, I am so not lazy. Like, I'm go, go, go. So I was making a business plan in bed, and the day I was capable of doing something, I just started my own company. And I was just like, I'm going to do it. If the only thing that's holding me back is the word no, I can easily overcome that. And so
I love that.
Something that I wrote down I took notes from our phone conversation that we had about a month ago.
Yeah.
And you said, I'm going to create something that's true to me.
Yeah. And I think I did. I mean, I think the company is a very good representation of me, because I'm always trying to improve myself. And I think that's the best thing I try to give to my clients, is revamping their image and creating the best them. And I always try to stay true to that and keep building as a person. And I think that a lot of people have always said, like, oh, I hope you don't change. And like, I don't think I'll ever change for a bad situation. I think I'm always going to change for a good situation. I don't think change is ever a bad thing if you do it in a positive way.
So what is it exactly that you do? You revamp people's businesses, so you're in marketing. Mm-hmm. The elevator pitch, so to speak. If you were to just tell somebody briefly, how does that work? And if you got a realtor, or you got someone who owns their own business, whatever facet that might be,
yeah.
How does it work?
Well, when people ask me, they always are like really interested, like, what do you do? You know, like, they can't really grasp everything I do. And I always like to say that I'm kind of like a boutique umbrella, where it's a one-stop shop. Like, I manage talent, I do photo shoots, campaigns, and commercials, and then I also do social media for brands. So I can do everything for you. So if you come to me as a client, like, I can offer everything, like the social media side from my talent, who can be an influencer. I put together production to make a photo shoot, to make a campaign. And then also too, I can do the whole back end of like your whole Instagram or whatever you need, like Snapchat, social media.
So when it comes to stuff like that, like for me, if I had questions about this, and say that I wanted to get, I wanted to multiply my Instagram following, mm-hmm. or something like that, is there something that you do with your clients that can kind of project and quantify what that looks like? I have 100 followers, and in 2 months you're going to have 1,000 or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of my clients that I work with consistently is a company called Berkson, and they make solar backpacks. And when they first came to me 7 months ago, they worked with one of my influencers, and we just collaborated so well that he was really interested in using me for his campaigns. So right away we did his photo shoots, and it just organically came into something that he was like, wow, you understand our lifestyle, and like the imagery that you're projecting towards the company is creating this new awareness. So they asked me to literally take over their Instagram, and I, on a weekly basis, create all their imagery for them. So it's turned into more of an adventure. And when they first started with me, they had I think 6,000 followers, and in 2 months they're now at 16,000.
Wow.
So I've created this different brand awareness, and it's come into exactly what they wanted, where you go on their Instagram and you physically feel like you could use that bag and like be in another like reality, like for like your dream reality, and that's what they wanted.
And for pricing, what does something like that run? Is it like, are you quoting people specifically to their needs, or do you have kind of canned pricing?
It depends, because, you know, I've learned from reading a lot of entrepreneurial books that you should never sell yourself short. Like, at the end of the day, you know, you should know what you're worth, and people will know that about you as well. And like the way you represent yourself, people will pay more if they know that you're going to really passionately do the best you can for their business.
Absolutely.
And if you sell yourself short, they're going to think that you don't really care either, that you don't care about you and like how much you care about your worth, that you're going to put that much effort into their business as well. So
right.
I don't have, like, certain things I have a specific quote and I know in my head like how much it would cost and my time and everything, but other things, like, it just depends. Like, this industry is so it's really hard to quantify the same thing for each company, because
Right.
they all want they expect different things. So I kind of have to gauge on my time. And if it's I've turned down a lot of work just because I've learned that at the end of the day, like, my happiness is more important than a dollar sign. And when I stopped looking at the dollar and looked at my happiness, the money came. And when I was focused on the dollar, it didn't come as much. So
Of course.
I don't just take in work to take in work. So.
And so back December 2013, when this car accident occurred, you said you were on your way to work, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you were working a traditional W-2 job at that point,
Yep.
and then you're out for 2 months. Were you getting paid by your employer for those 2 months?
I was getting, what is it?
Disability?
Yes, disability.
You were getting disability.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you hit the ground running and you had your business plan mapped out, this is obviously something that you've never done before, that you've never been paid to do professionally, right, at that time?
I've had my own business before, but in this kind of direction, I've never done this before. No.
So this was a shift where it was like, you're going to do something essentially, maybe not brand new, but something that was going to be your sole source of income, correct?
Yeah, and I didn't. I mean, at the time, I didn't think of it as like, okay, I'm only going to do this. I was just like, you know what? My whole goal since like I was young, I've always known what I wanted to be, and the thing is I just knew I was going to get there. My whole direction was like, I'm going to be a creative director. However I'm going to get there, I'm going to figure it out. And I knew that if I stayed in the industry, those people never leave. Like, they are locked in, and like they'll never get out of that position like for years. So I was like, the only way I can be that is to have my own company and become my own creative director.
So what's your advice to someone who might be in those shoes where they're thinking, you know, this is something that I'm passionate about, something that I can definitely foresee a business coming to fruition in and doing and being successful at it, but there's that underlying, I hate to call it reality, but I think people perceive it as reality. It's more of that security that they see as, I can't leave this because what if this doesn't work out? And then here you are saying, you know, I've been in bed for 2 months, I'm going to go ahead and do this business plan, and it's going to be my one and only source of income, and that's it. There is no looking back, there's only looking forward. So what would your advice be to someone who's maybe in those shoes that's more reluctant to move forward?
I know that it's really hard to leave a job when you know it's consistent money, and you, like, a lot of people have families and other, you know, positions that they're in, that, you know, it's a risk. Like, you really have to like swallow everything and maybe sacrifice a lot to get where you want to be. But at the end of the day, my advice is, I would rather be poor doing something I love than be rich doing something I hate. And most people work their whole life and they're unhappy with their life because of the fact that they're in a job they don't love. And you work all day, all night, and I'd rather work all day, all night doing something I enjoy. And if you can't really, like, some people make so much money, but they can't really enjoy it because they're at work all day.
Right.
And they have these amazing houses and everything, but they don't actually get to live. And I don't think that's living, and I think society makes you feel like you're supposed to be this certain person, this certain way, and you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to go to school for 4 years and get this amazing job and, like, work, till you can't work anymore. And I just don't think that's my reality at the end of the day.
What are some of the sacrifices you've had to make, perhaps the biggest one?
I feel like I've made a couple. I think the biggest sacrifice I've had to make is, it's weird. It's kind of hard because I think the biggest sacrifice I've had to make is to not really take in what people think about me, and, like, realize that you can't please everyone, and people are gonna be judgmental and have an opinion about what you do, but you have to know that, like, if you want to get something done, you can't listen to those people. And I think that's why a lot of people are so afraid to do something on their own, because they're held back by others, or they're held back by their own insecurities and afraid to fail. But I think that you're never failing. I think I'm never failing. I think I'm just learning what not to do, and I think if you keep that mindset out, then you will be able to overcome that. And I've always looked at it as, like, the biggest failure is not doing what I want to do. So. And
you even said, once you stopped focusing on the dollar sign and focused on your happiness, the dollar signs came anyway.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are worried about the paycheck, but when you stop worrying about that, it is there. It somehow it works out. And my guy friend actually wants to move to LA, and he's like, well, I'm afraid, I won't have a job. I'm like, survival of the fittest. Like, if you are throwing yourself up there and you moved, you would figure it out more so than if you waited. And I feel like that's how it is. Like, when I started this business, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out how to make income. Like, it's gonna be easier for me to do it that way than to have it all laid out for me. So
let's go back to the beginning when you did start it. How long from the business plan to I now have this company, Vamped, how long of a time period was that?
Oh, so quickly. I mean, I self-promoted me on Instagram and all social media platforms because I've been in the industry as a model, and people know me that way. So I was like, you know what? I know what I'm doing behind the camera and in front of the camera. So I didn't want to pay anyone. I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to do photo shoots, and I'm going to make this hype and awareness and have people ask me, what am I doing? And I have been in the industry for over 15 years, so I had so many contacts that I just grabbed like stuff from Beach Riot, stuff from Vitamin A, like all these different brands, and collaborated with them. So they would post me, and people would be like, okay, this imagery's rad. Like, what are you doing? And then I would contact my friends and be like, I'll do a photo shoot for you. And then we did campaigns, and it kind of just took off from there. So.
Do you recall what the tipping point was? You probably started and then you saw some income and it was good. But I mean, to the point where you're more or less your income and expenses are predictable, where you can, when you go out and buy a car, you buy a house, you pretty much know, I can afford this even though I'm signing up for the next 5 years or 30 years or whatever it is of payments, because I know roughly what I'm going to earn this year and I know roughly what I'm going to earn next year. Do you remember what that tipping point was when you're like, this is, I make X amount of money now?
I think it was like maybe 5 months ago where I was like, okay, like I can easily take a month off and be okay, but I think with myself, I don't even know how to relax. Like, I'll draw a bath and right when it's done, filled up, I get out. So I don't even know how to like enjoy selfishly doing stuff for myself, because I really wake up every Monday and I'm so blessed that I get to actually enjoy my Mondays.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way.
Like, that's the best feeling ever. When you know that you can wake up the first day of the week and and just smile, like you've made it. I don't care. Like the last book I read, it said that there's a certain point that you make money where your happiness won't even change. Like it's like...
Was that book called Drive by Daniel Pink?
You know what? I've read so many entrepreneurial books. I'm like on right now the 4-Hour Work Week.
Oh, you should never have said that.
So
You're
good,
talking
right?
like Tim Ferriss is like number one
It's
fan
so
over here.
good.
Tim Ferriss is my idol. In fact, I'm pretty sure his name has crept into every podcast thus far.
So far, yeah.
That's rad.
Oh, that book will change your life if it hasn't already.
It has, definitely. And I think that I think it might have been that book, but I remember it saying you reach a certain point of money and your happiness cannot change. Like you will be happy, and like if it's 60,000 or 300, you're still at the same. That
was the number, 60,000.
Yeah,
in the book.
Yeah, you're still the same happiness.
Yep.
So that's how I look at it. Is like work is work. I don't look at. I mean, I don't like count my dollars. I'm not a penny pincher. Like I purchase to purchase. I enjoy my life, and things just happen, and I'm just so blessed every day. Like I can't, like, look at, I'm sitting here getting interviewed. It's awesome.
Just like two handsome guys, Monday morning, and you get free coffee.
Yeah, this is my Monday. I get to like talk about myself.
It's pretty
That's
incredible.
everyone's favorite thing,
it's
right?
It's pretty incredible. Do you have any employees?
I have assistants, and I work side by side with Bergson, so they pretty much call me their team, even though I'm like still a client. But right now it's just assistants. I'm actually discussing with someone who wants to be my partner, and like do all the like good cop, bad cop, because I don't like being mean to anyone, so I need that person to be really stern, and I don't want to be that person. I want to be the face of it, and everyone can come to me and like know that it's going to be, rainbows and butterflies. And then I'm like, if you do me wrong, here's
the enforcer.
Here's him.
Here's the new partner.
Here's my little friend.
So with your assistants now, are they independent contractors then? You're just paying them like for certain work that they're doing? They're not like on staff. They're not employees. You're not paying them consistently 40 hours a week or anything? Yeah,
so like I have a lot of contracted out work. Everything I do, so production-wise, like videographers, photographers, makeup, models, everything, everyone's contracted out. Even my talent, like no one's like on payroll.
Got it.
Which is great because every job's different. Like I cater to the client mostly, and I can't use the same photographer for everything. I have certain photographers where they're great at swim, and that's what I use them for. And I have to know that as a business that not everyone's going to have the same,
Right. Did you do you use any virtual assistants at all, or do you use just have you learned about virtual assistants in 4-Hour Work Week? Oh, you will.
I'm getting there, I think, soon.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah,
okay.
that's exactly the source where I learned it from. But VAs, you can essentially get someone in Pakistan for $4 an hour.
Yes,
and
I do know that.
They can write software. They can do anything. And it's great for everybody. It's great for the new business owner or whatnot, because you don't have someone on staff right in the beginning, so you're not signed up for all these commitments that might be a little bit uncomfortable or maybe just not smart. And at the same time, it's great for them abroad because you're providing jobs to these people through services like Odesk and Elance and anyway, that's a great resource to have.
Yeah, I think that I've been using them indirectly just because I work with other people that use them, so
got it.
It's kind of like that.
Did you receive, I always ask this of the guests, when you first started out, did you receive how much support versus kind of resistance? Like were people like, wait, no, you should be more careful, or did you have a strong support system with you?
You know what? Honestly, I have the most amazing support system. My friends are always proud of me. I've always been a go-getter, and they've known that about me. And when I tell them an idea, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna kill it." It's amazing, and I am very blessed. And I think that has helped me a lot to have that, to build easier, because I know that people support me. But then again, there's I've had to really step back from a lot of people this year because of the fact that I've been growing, and it's almost like a competition, and I hate that. I'm very supportive of every girl or friend that is doing something that they want to do, and they're being a boss about it. Like, I'm so proud of them. Like, I have no envy or anything. I want us all to build together. I think there's room up at the top, and anyone that doesn't support me, like, I love them from afar, but they're not in my circle anymore.
So you just touched on something that was going to segue into my next question, and this is a mantra that we always reiterate here.
That's what I thought of. I know exactly what you're going to say.
We always reiterate the saying, you're the 5 people closest to you.
Exactly. Oh, gosh.
You're the average, right?
Yes,
So
the average.
So especially when you're starting a business, there are so many people, in my personal life, I'm sure in both of your personal lives, that maybe they don't mean to be negative, maybe they don't mean to be cynical, but whatever they perceive as realistic is negative to us because we're thinking ahead. And to your point, I was going to ask you, the 5 people closest to you, do you find them to be like-minded, or do you find them to be maybe it is a little bit rough because here you are on this path, and maybe you've got a couple friends that are working retail jobs and whatnot, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just maybe you're not surrounding yourself with people that are going to help you propel forward. Does that make sense?
You know what? The last, I have all my, to be honest, 90% of my friends have their own business, and they are very dedicated to making it to the top. And I have had a few friends that are not like that and kind of are just comfortable in the comfort zone. And, I've really progressed forward from them because they are holding me back. They want me to be in that comfort and know that because it makes them feel comfortable.
Right.
That I'm not moving forward. I can stay there with them in that little pool of water. Mm-hmm. But I think those are the people that are very disappointed in me and don't want to see me succeed and take out negative aggression because they don't know how to get where I'm going. And I get it. I understand it. As a human being, it's only natural to be envious of something you don't have. But at the end of the day, I've had to learn to just accept it. And I have such a strong system with my mom. So I just feel like she's just love everyone, be supportive of everyone, even if they hurt you. Because at the end of the day, if you hate them, it's only hurting you. It's not hurting them, it's hurting you. So just love them from afar, but don't put them, don't put effort into them like you usually would. So I've learned that.
I love that. I completely agree. Yeah, it's negative energy wearing on yourself, and it does nothing for the other person. They can't feel that. You're the one who feels it. It's the burden is placed on you.
Yep.
Lindsay, who has been your favorite client, or who do you want to work with?
You know what? Honestly, I've worked with a lot of companies, and I've worked with everyone I've wanted to work with. I don't have someone go, oh my gosh, I want to work with that person, because I've really reached out, and I either know them or I've worked with them, or I don't know. I've have the most amazing clients. I pinch myself because those horror stories about working with people, I think you attract what you want to attract. And when people say oh, I only have bad people in my life, I don't feel sorry for them, because I think that you accept that into your life. And I think with my clients, I pick and choose who I want to be in my circle, and they're positive, good energy, and we make amazing stuff out of it because we're both happy people.
So are you able to play favorites and give us your favorite?
Well, honestly, I'm going to say that I love Berkson. The family, they're so supportive. They're so easy to work with. They have the best mentality, and the way that Richard is running the company is how Virgin runs their company, where, you work when you work. It could be the whole month and you don't work, but the last day you do what your goals are. I'm fine with that. And that makes me want to work harder for him, because he's not micromanaging me. He's so proud of me from afar, and like they live in San Francisco and they want me to move there, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do that, but I think it's a beautiful city. But yeah, I think he has, and that's why he's building so quickly. I mean, they are killing it, so it's good.
What's next for Vamped? What do you have on the horizon?
I have a few things that are in the works. Right now, I just launched Vamp Tours, which is taking all my talent to different countries and different cities and highlighting sponsorship by them all being together and just creating this awareness. And I think it really made everyone excited because my talents, they're a good looking crew and they're fun and everyone just wants to know what we're doing. So it helps brands, and I mean, I've always wanted to just travel and get paid for it, so why not?
So yeah, I love that. I've always wanted to travel and get paid for it, so I'm just going to do that.
I'm going to do that now.
Hang out with pretty people, why not?
All right, so I've got 5 questions for you.
Okay.
Number 1, what is your morning routine?
Oh man. Okay, so I have 2 mornings, and my girlfriend, who I just met from Arizona, who's moving down here, and she's an entrepreneur as well, she like loves me for telling her this. So I have 2 mornings. So I wake up at 3:30. I go to the gym at 4. Yeah, I know.
That's even early for you, Jay.
I know. I don't even see 3:30.
I go to the gym at 4, and I take this time for myself. So from 4 to 6, I'm at the gym. I have breakfast. I just relax and like kind of get that energy going. And then by 8:30, I'm ready to work my morning. And so from 8:30 to around 12 or 1, I get all my I guess, West Coast emails done. And then later on, I'll do shopping or whatever, have like lunchtime, and then later on at night around 6, I'll do all Australia. Like I have like clients in Australia, a lot of them, so they're usually getting on the computer around like 3:30.
I see. What's the second morning?
No, that's my first morning, 3:30 to like 6 in the morning.
Oh, I see.
And then my second morning's actually working.
So you've been up already for 6 hours.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Oh man, I felt bad for waking up at 7 this morning.
Okay, so second question: favorite quote or maybe a philosophy that you live by?
I think, well, on my phone it says never quit, and I always have people ask me like, why do you have that on your phone? I'm like, because it's a reminder that I love what I do, and I don't want to quit something that's actually giving me this much pleasure every day, you know? And I do different quotes on my Instagram and stuff to remind me, like, you know, you are a powerful person. Like, you're bringing awareness to other people, and people love quotes. People love hearing something like in the morning and being like, yeah, you're right. Like, I can do this, you know?
Right. It's inspiring.
Yeah. And I have another one that I always say, be kind and just please rewind, you know? So just...
I think another company used to have that. The Blockbuster video?
Be kind, please rewind.
That's true, they did. And they're under, and I'm keeping it going.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's got to.
They appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so biggest struggle to date, and I'm thinking like a time where you're thinking, I'm gonna throw in the towel. It's time.
Biggest struggle was working for a company, I'm not mentioning the name, where I literally gave my all every single day and worked so many hours. And the worst feeling is working for someone else's company and feeling like no one respects you. And every single day you walk into that job knowing that you're giving your 110%, everyone looks at you and hopes you fail. That's like probably the biggest struggle. And I think I'm actually very appreciative too at the same time, because I'm gonna look at the positive thing of it, and it made me so strong to like start my own business and not worry about those people. That like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do to make myself a better person and make something out of something, but not worry about that energy coming into my life.
What's been one of the biggest struggles in the business that you have right now?
Do I pack the red bathing suit, or do I pack?
Yeah. Was that job that you hated Blockbuster?
I just take their
That's
quote.
where I got this thing.
Had to charge these late fees.
My biggest struggle is not having enough time in the day. And like,
Wow, you are definitely type A. I thought I was bad.
and also not being able to like sleep enough. You know, like you really need to sleep to be better at work. And I'm so excited to work that I don't sleep ever. Like my dude who I've known forever, who's like we've been trying to have a relationship now, he laughs at me. He's like, I don't ever he's like, you text me at 3:30 in the morning, you text me at midnight, like when do you sleep? Like how I don't, so I take cat naps.
Wow. So you mentioned that you like to read a lot of business and entrepreneur books. What is your favorite book that you've read, or maybe one that you've gifted a lot of people, one that you...
You know what? There is a favorite book I have. I love The 4-Hour Work Week. This other book that my mom actually gave me, which I don't remember the name, because it's these people shouldn't have... If you have a name longer than like 4 words, it shouldn't be a
Cat
book
in
name.
the hat.
Yeah,
Done.
it shouldn't be a book name. It's so long, but it is the most amazing book, and it's about your mindset and how where you are at this moment is because you chose to be here. And 2 people can come from the same family and have different directions, and the excuse of like, oh, you know, I came from this kind of family, like this is why I'm the way I am, not true. Like 2 kids can come from the same family and be completely different, but they choose their mindset to be where they want to be. And the whole book is just about that. And you know, I'm gonna admit, and I think that I'm more relatable, I went through a year of depression, and I'm a very happy person, and to be that deep into depression is probably the hardest thing to come out of, and have confidence and strength and be happy again. And it's taken me a long time to just learn that no one else can make you happy. You can only make you happy. So this book really helped me get out of that. And I swear, like the day I read it, it was when I was like, you know what? Like I choose to be depressed.
Right.
You know? So I'm going to choose not to be. And I got out of it.
So you got to get us the name of that book, and we'll and when we launch this, we'll post it up there.
Yes, cool.
The last question we have for you is, to date, what is your biggest success?
My biggest success is to wake up knowing that I'm happy regardless of what I do. That is the biggest success.
I love that. Okay, so if people want to get a hold of you and use your services, how can they reach you?
Through my website. I have my email on there, and Instagram. People reach out to me different ways. So
the website is vamped.com with 2 P's. And where can people reach you on Instagram?
Vamped as well. VAMPPED is my Instagram link.
Awesome.
And my email's on there too, and so yeah.
Perfect. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it, and we will check that out. Vamped. I know that there's plenty of people in my life who could use it. And as a reminder to all of our listeners, this podcast is fueled by RE/MAX Prestige, the most innovative and progressive real estate company in Orange County. And RE/MAX Prestige services all of Orange County for tenants, buyers, and sellers looking for VIP service, zero pressure, and optimal results. Whether you're looking for your first condo at $150,000 or selling your $5 million luxury home, we are your solution. This week's testimonial comes from Beth and Brian Smith, who write, "We found Jay's team through another realtor's recommendation and could not have been more impressed. We were selling our house and they made the entire process ridiculously smooth. Everything was top-notch, from their level of communication to their professionalism to addressing any of our personal concerns, and the list goes on. You won't find a better real estate team." So there you have it, another example of our core philosophy, representing our clients' best interests at all times. Please like us on Facebook by searching RE/MAX Prestige, and feel free to reach us online at prestigelivingpodcast.com, or you can email us jay.o'brien, OBRIEN, at remax.net, or via phone 714-323-8542. Thank you so much. Cool.
If you would like to be on the Prestige Living Podcast or know someone that would be a great guest, go to www.prestigelivingpodcast.com. We'd love to hear your story.